Hi class, I'm making you another video. This one is for shoulders and chest, and the next one will be for back. So for this one, again, this is just a kind of overview, a lot of the main points that I made in class for lecture. If you were sick and missed class, you will still need to make up for the attendance point. This just keeps you up to date on the content so that you know what's going on and you're not missing the content itself. So if you have any questions, feel free to email me or text me. And again, this video is going to be over shoulders and chest. All right, here we go. Shoulders. So the shoulders are really important because it's more of a free-floating system. It's not super interconnected or closely connected by bone. So the muscles are what's doing a ton of support here. And it's very important to work these out and get that blood flow coming in so that we're less likely for injury, and also keeping that strong so we can keep all the joints in place to support the tendons as well, because we don't want to end up with shoulder surgery. So our first exercise was that back press. And here it's just a barbell, it's over back, and we're pressing up. Pretty simple. Number 2 is the seated front press. Same thing, just pushing in the front. Maybe you notice just a little bit of the muscle difference. And then here we have the same thing, the seated dumbbell presses. And the difference here is these hands are a little more free to roam. So if you have a tendency to turn your hands out or turn your hands in, if you have a tendency to press up and in or to press out, that can occur here. You can have a little more free range in this one, and you can do those deviations, and this one's going to prevent you from it. So if you already have some deviations that you're trying to correct, that barbell would be the best route. All right, so here it's just kind of looking over the shoulder injuries, saying that if we don't properly support with muscles to support those tendons, then the tendons get pulled, and we look at rotator cuff surgery and such like that. Okay, and here's just a couple little tidbits. We don't need to obsess over that. The Arnold press. So here we're starting in this motion, and then we're giving a rotation so that the fingers are facing out. Okay. Number 5, bent over. Now here we did this with the shoulders. However, with the shoulders, we had a little bit more of an angle. So I like to imagine if there was a ball on the shoulders here, the ball would be up here. So we see that we're working out the shoulders a little more. But when we bend over, the ball would roll to our back so that it would stay on us. And that means that we would be working out those back muscles a little more. While you're here in those bent over lateral raises, we are flying out, but you can also do a row with that as well, which I believe that'll be listed further. So number 5, bent over lateral raise. Number 6 is just a lateral raise. So here we are really working the shoulders. And this one, you really want to make sure this core is stabilized. If you start to pull these up and your core is not tight, you're going to start displacing weight. And then that's going to cause injury, most likely in your lower back. All right. Here we're showing the back muscles that we're working in the shoulders. And here, and this is shoulders and a little bit of chest, as we can see, alternate front raises. Now we would alternate this if we're lifting heavier weights and we need to stabilize more. However, you can do this with both arms, and we would again want to make sure that we're extra stable, because as we lift up in the front, we're going to want to push into the toes a little more, and then we're going to try to displace that weight. So let's try not to do that. Big firm stance, slightly bent knees. And then I always joke about this one. No, you're not required to do it. It's just showing again how we change our position, changes how we use gravity to help us out. So again, imagine that imaginary ball sitting on us, balancing. We can kind of get an idea of where and what muscles we're working. All right, front raises with the cable. So here the cable is behind him, and he's pulling up. And then this one, he changes his hand grip. So we have a low pulley front raise, overhand grip, low pulley front raise with a neutral grip. Number 10. Don't forget to stretch while you're warm. High pulley curl. We do want to make sure these cables are crossed. That allows you to have more pull. You're not pulling the weights right up off the stack. They're already lifted. You're going to glide a little bit easier, and you're going to be more effective. Okay, so crossing those. Here, the pulley is here. We're pulling across the body, and we're staying right at this hip level. And as you feel that pull, you're going to feel the shoulders. I'm working this a little bit different. Low pulley bent over, so that's just like that back fly or shoulder fly, however you want to angle that or call that. This one, we're angled over. And again, you can see all those muscles working. We can see where they cross the cables, and we're pulling up. Low pulley lateral raise. So we just saw this one, but the pulley was up here, and we were keeping it right around hip level. Now it's down low, and we're going to pull up. We are not going to go past the shoulders. Definitely do not go past the ears. Importance of pulling the shoulders back. It's gonna, if you feel like you have wide shoulders as a female, tightening up the back definitely helps that. Alrighty. One dumbbell front raise. We're changing up the grip. We're changing up our angle. We lift straight up. Now you can also do this with a kettlebell, and the fingertips would be facing down. Number 16, barbell front raise. Number 17, upright row. Elbows lead, shoulders squeeze. Make sure your wrists don't look like they're broken. Your wrists should be relatively straight until you get right at the top. Then we have a machine curl or machine lateral raise. So we're pushing up with the elbows, and again, we see the shoulders are working. So it's the assisted machine. This is a pec deck. You squeeze in. You can see this one is more what you're going to be seeing at the gym versus this weird contraption. Stretching the shoulders. Again, you can just use gravity to your advantage. And then stretching the shoulder. Okay, chest. See that list? Feel free to pause, copy those down. All right. Bench press. Here, notice this bar. This has lots of smooth spots, grippy spots. Sometimes you'll feel rings. That is so that you can get your hands in proper placement. If your hands are not equally balanced on each side, that weight's going to start to topple over. It's not you, it's that you don't have your hands balanced. If you have the strength to actually push it up, but you're struggling to push, check where your hands are. If you do not feel comfortable having a bar across your chest, you can do this with dumbbells, and it's going to show this in just a little bit. Notice the seat on this one is inclined. That's how I recommend most of the ladies start out if you don't feel comfortable laying flat on your back. And then stretching up against a wall, stretching out the chest. Here we're flat, just a bench press, number 2. Let's see here. And here, and then we have a closed grip, so we're bringing our hands in a little bit closer. So you can imagine if your hands are together and you're pushing up, it's going to be a little bit harder. You have less surface area on that. Here, you're pushing straight up. It's going to be a little bit harder than if you had it out a little bit wider. Okay, so we're seeing the hands. Making sure you're even. We don't want one chest higher than the other. All right, and for decline bench press, I really don't want many of you doing this, not unless you have been doing bench presses for a long time or if you've tried this out before. Otherwise, I really just want you getting comfortable with the other ones and know this exists. All right, here's the machine presses. Ours are in more of a seated position, and then this portion still kind of looks like this, and that's number 5. Parallel bar dips. Notice you're angled forward a little bit more, so we're feeling the pressure in the chest. Sorry, the screen's getting wobbly. My hand's getting tired. There's also tricep dips on the machines there as well. Check your neck. Watch your neck while you're doing this one. push-ups. It's a classic. It's great. All right, here's those dumbbell presses. And again, we've kind of already talked about this. Barbell versus dumbbell. Your hands are a little bit able to move out. We want the wrist over the elbows, and the elbows are in line with the shoulders. As you push up, you can push straight up. Some of us, it makes it a little easier if we angle in when we get to the top. That's okay, but try to just push straight up. Okay. Number 9, dumbbell flies. So we're here, we're opening up. Notice this elbow is still bent. We do not lock it. You also do not have to take this all the way down. Stop when you start to feel a little bit of a pull, and then bring it back up. You can gradually get lower, and maybe you don't. That's okay. But lowering down to where you feel comfortable to bring it back up, because we do not want to pull a muscle right in here. Incline dumbbell press, number 10. Incline dumbbell flies, number 11. Here's the pec deck flies, number 12. Cable crossovers, so the cable are behind you, or we have some where they're out on the sides, and then we're pulling in, we're closing it in. Let me see here. We've done this one a little bit for the triceps, except for the triceps, the elbow's fixed in space, and we're dropping back, and we're just extending out. Here, we're pulling it all in like a crunch. Yes, this little gap comes in, but his abs are super tight. He is stabilizing, so don't let that arch fool you. And that's a dumbbell pull over 14. Barbell pull overs, same thing. And then next video we'll be going into the back. All right, so we just went over shoulders and chest. What I really want you to do here is make sure for each the shoulders and the chest that you can write down 2 to 3 exercises for different modalities. So check in with yourself and see if for cables, you can list 2 to 3 shoulder exercises. If for barbells, you can list 2 to 3 shoulder exercises. The same for dumbbells, the same for assisted machines, and then see what you can list for body weight as well. And we'll do the same with chest. So 2 to 3 exercises for dumbbells, barbells, cables, machines, and body weight. So give yourself that little self-quiz. In class, we went out to the floor and checked if you went to each area, can you think of them offhand? I want you to do this because I want you to realize the importance of drawing out your exercise plan before you hit the floor. Thinking of it offhand is something that the person that goes to the gym on a really regular basis is able to do. So some of you, this might not be too bad of a problem. For others, I really want you to practice this and challenge yourself to get yourself to that point.